Today we're going to be making ratatouille. It is going to be comprised of several fresh ingredients as well as some jarred ingredients. We're going to start by getting our saute pan heated up. Just going to warm that pan up a little bit, and we're going to add to it some extra virgin olive oil. Next, we will chop some onion. We're going to add that onion right into our pan. Next, we're going to add a little bit of green bell pepper. Right into the pan with that onion that's already going. And I want to add a lot of color into my dish, so really kind of making a nice, beautiful presentation here. I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of red bell pepper in here. So about the same amount as the green bell pepper. But if you like more or less of any particular ingredient, the nice thing about ratatouille is that it's very versatile. So you can add a little more of one. If you prefer red bell pepper versus green bell pepper, you can certainly add a little more in there. We can see how fresh and wonderful all of this is looking so far. Turn that heat down just a little bit. Let those start to cook. Next thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and add a little bit of garlic in here. So just going to chop up about 1 clove of garlic. And one of the reasons that I don't add the garlic in too soon is that if you overcook your garlic, it can become bitter. So I want it to just have the ability just to start to become fragrant before I add the rest of my remaining ingredients. Chop that up, add that in there. All right, next up we're going to add a little bit of zucchini. Again, right now we're keeping all with our fresh vegetables. And we don't need to peel the zucchini, we just keep the skins on here. And it adds a nice color contrast in our dish. Some of the dark green, the light green. Pop that in there. And to be able to keep all of the nutrients into our vegetables, we just want to cook them just until they're done. We don't want to overcook any of the vegetables that are in here. So we're just going to let that go until the onions are translucent. We want to make sure that they've actually cooked all the way through so that we don't have any raw onion taste in there. Can smell that garlic now. That's fantastic. So the next thing we're going to add here is we're going to add a little bit of some canned tomatoes. So canned diced tomatoes. If you have fresh and tomatoes are in season, I would absolutely recommend using fresh tomatoes for this. But we know that tomatoes are not ripe all year long, and so to get the maximum amount of flavor, we want to go ahead and add the diced tomatoes into here. We also have roasted eggplant that we're gonna add in here. Again, it's a seasonal vegetable, so if they're not available to you, you know, in a particular season, you can use a nice jarred eggplant. So on this one here, I love, these are Turkish roasted eggplant, and that smoky flavor, that roasted flavor is just so prevalent in these. They just smell absolutely phenomenal. So I'm gonna go ahead and add that into here as well. Mix that with the remaining ingredients that we've got. So just start to combine all this. You can see still we have all this wonderful color. We're getting the smell of the tomatoes and the eggplant. I'm gonna sprinkle a little bit of black pepper, a little bit of Himalayan sea salt. And then the last ingredient that we're gonna put in here when this is just about ready, so we're gonna cook those vegetables again just until they're tender. I'm gonna add in a little bit of basil. And because we're using fresh basil, we wanna use this at the very last moment. We don't wanna heat it too long or the basil's gonna lose some of that really bright flavor that it has. Just a nice little chiffonade of basil. Again, just give this a little bit of a stir. All right, add in that fresh basil. And then we can turn our heat off, and then we can get ready to do our plating. All right, so we have our bowl here. You can smell all of these wonderful vegetables. This is a nice vegetarian dish. So low calorie, you can eat as much of this as you want to without doing any damage to your waistline. And it's chock full of flavor. Take a nice little bit of basil there just to kind of finish that off on the dish. And there we have ratatouille.